20 games coming to Switch 2 that you should already have on your radar, and probably don't. Some are big names, some you've never heard of. Let's go. Ubisoft kept its best open-world racer away from Nintendo for 3 years, and it finally caved. Motorfest hands you the whole island of Oahu, from the streets of Honolulu to the ash slopes of a volcano. And the real hook isn't the racing itself, but the playlists. Themed campaigns built around Japanese street culture, American muscle, vintage legends. Boats and planes too, because why not? 10 million players since 2023, and most of them will tell you it's the best game in the series. Now the bad part, and it's a big one. The game demands a constant internet connection, which quietly deletes the entire reason to buy a racer for a handheld console, playing it on a train, in a car, on a couch with no Wi-Fi. An offline mode is promised eventually. The physical version is a game keycard, the price is $50, and somewhere in the background looms the ghost of the original The Crew, whose servers Ubisoft switched off in 2024. A grim fairy tale about a Pinocchio who, instead of becoming a real boy, walks the plague-ridden streets of Krat cutting puppets apart. NeoWiz built a Souls-like that plenty of people rate above half of From Software's catalog, with weapons that literally split into blades and handles so you can bolt together something that suits you, and a lying system where the more you deceive, the more human you become. 4 million copies, a shelf of awards, a sequel already in production. Switch 2 gets the full package including the Overture expansion, and in the direct footage it looked like a stable 60. Team Ninja finally arrives on Nintendo hardware and it isn't showing up empty-handed. Wolong is the Three Kingdoms gone demonic. Generals you half remember from history class, driven mad by corrupted Qi. And you're a nameless militia soldier with a Chinese sword and a morale bar where the stamina meter should be. It wants you aggressive, deflecting at the last possible frame, and it punishes cowards without mercy. The package includes all 3 story expansions, the crossover content with Nioh 2, Naraka, and, amusingly, Lies of P, plus a roguelite survival mode for the endgame. Switch 2 owners get the Xuanwu armor set thrown in free. Then, the sour note. The boxed version is a game key card, so you're buying a box with a download token.
The night will burn bright when a hero steps forward to quell the...
Suddenly struck by a cosmic storm.
This might be the most interesting exclusive the console has had in a while. 2 explorers, Maki and Omura, fly out through a cosmic storm to save their dying station, and you can only play it with someone else. Asymmetric co-op, where each of you holds different tools, and neither of you gets anywhere alone. The developer is Japanese studio Shape Farm, but the game director came from Hazelight, the people behind It Takes Two and Split Fiction, and you can feel that pedigree in every puzzle. Visually, it's 80s retro anime with hand-drawn cutscenes and full voice work, and it looks warmer than 90% of modern indies. GameShare lets your partner join for free without owning a copy. The cartridge holds the entire game, no strings.
Maki and Omura, 2 young explorers. While exploring, you can encounter strange life forms.
I need to become...
TT Games threw out its old engine, moved to Unreal Engine 5, and made the most grown-up LEGO game yet. Open World Gotham, a combat system lifted fairly openly from the Arkham series, and Bruce Wayne's arc from League of Shadows trainee to the Bat. Only 7 playable characters, which after LEGO games with 300 sounds like a cut, though each one now carries their own skill tree and gadget loadout. It launched on other platforms in May and landed a solid 84. The real issue is elsewhere. The Switch 2 version was pushed back 4 months specifically because of performance problems, and nobody has yet said whether it's 30 frames or 60. Add a game key card, $70 for the base game, and the best content, Joker and Harley, locked inside a $90 deluxe.
A boy named Ray must use his newly awakened powers.
Falcom returns to its most overlooked line. An alternate Japan where Kyoto is the capital, a vast labyrinth called Xanadu has opened beneath the city, and you're a student who attends classes and wanders tourist spots by day, then descends to kill things by night. The combat structure is genuinely clever. You explore the labyrinth as a 2D side-scroller, and when a gate opens, the whole thing snaps into full 3D action. Famitsu has already handed it 34 out of 40, praising how good the counters feel while calling the story and characters cliché to the point of parody. Here's what matters most. There is still no Western release date. Falcom says a publisher is being lined up. Talks are ongoing. Also worth noting that in Japan, the Switch 2 version is digital only, and Switch owners upgrade for the equivalent of about $1.
And spend time on Nintendo Switch 2 and Nintendo Switch systems.
Blizzard Cube, the people behind Streets of Rage 4, pulled Joe Musashi out of the grave and delivered one of the best 2D action games of last year. Hand-drawn animation, katana, kunai, ninjutsu, a soundtrack from Yuzo Koshiro and T-Lopes, a dozen fat bosses, and levels you actually want to replay hunting hidden routes. It's been on the original Switch for a year already, and that's where this gets ugly. Sega is putting out a native Switch 2 version, and the sum total of what it promises is updated resolution. Not a word about frame rate, nothing else. Worse, there's no upgrade path for Switch owners, free or paid. Want the same game, slightly sharper? Buy it again for $30. Physical is a game key card naturally. Wonderful game, shabby treatment of the people who already bought it. Milestone decided it was done building orange tracks across living rooms and took Hot Wheels into an open world. 4 themed islands you can literally sky jump between, free roaming with everything smashable, collectibles buried everywhere, over 150 cars ranging from pure Hot Wheels absurdity to actual Ferraris. The track builder now lets you bolt modules onto real buildings and race between skyscrapers. It sounds fun, and based on the previews, plays that way. But the Switch 2 version has one nasty difference from every other platform. Crossplay works everywhere except here. Your online pool is Switch 2 owners only, and how alive that lobby looks 6 months from now is anyone's guess. 4-player local split screen survives, at least.
The mask that takes us from the ashes.
Argentinian studio Ephemera is making its first game, and the pitch isn't shy. A squad of android magical girls climbs the Tower of Babel to kill God. It's a 4-player co-op roguelite where every death drops you back into a lab and you slot skill chips into your unit, capped at exactly 256 kilobytes, because someone on the design team was clearly enjoying themselves. Between runs, you talk to the tower's residents, hand them gifts, and by the sound of the description, you can romance them. The anime aesthetic isn't costume party stuff either. It has some real bite. A Fortnite collaboration is already announced, which for a debut studio is oddly ambitious.
And a new model is awoken. Now this is betrayal of the highest order.
The first major Castlevania in 12 years, and it's being made by Evil Empire, the team that spent years supporting Dead Cells and once walked up to Konami asking for permission to make a few cosmetic skins. Konami came back and offered them a whole game. The year is 1499, Dracula's castle materializes in the middle of Paris, and you play Rose Belmont, daughter of Trevor and Sypha. Despite the developer's background, this is a proper Symphony of the Night-style Metroidvania, not a roguelite, with a non-linear map, 7 weapon categories and abilities you strip from dead bosses. All lovely. Now the part that has to be said out loud. There is no announced Switch 2 version at all. There's a Switch version with no date, just a vague in 2026, and on the new console it runs through backwards compatibility.
We must join with them to attack Cao Cao.
This is the Musou that started the love affair with 1 versus 1,000 for millions of people. Koei Tecmo rebuilt the 3rd game together with its Extreme Legends expansion in Unreal Engine 5, brought back the full roster of 40-plus officers, bolted on dodges, perfect guards, and weapon fusion, and dropped Zilluan from the recent Origins into the lineup. Split screen for 2 in the campaign and in Versus is still there, a feature modern Musou games are weirdly embarrassed about. 2 serious problems though. First, the original Switch version was cancelled outright, with development shifted entirely to Switch 2.
原作の味わいも再現。細かなその名を刻め。
Fangtopia.
A cozy puzzle game where hexagonal tiles assemble into a landscape, and that landscape gets populated by vampires, ghosts, and assorted undead who have absolutely no intention of frightening you. No timer, no pressure. Build something beautiful or chase a number on the global leaderboard. The British studio out of Guildford was clearly looking at Dwarf Romantic and isn't even trying to hide it, just stretching a Halloween skin over the top. The Steam demo went down well, and Rock Paper Shotgun admitted to sinking hours into it. The Switch 2 version is promised full parity with PC. What worries me is different. There's no date, just a promise to make it in time for pumpkin season, and games that promise to arrive by Halloween have a long tradition of showing up in spring.
If you fancy a bite to eat, just
get your pups ready. A new mission begins.
If you have preschool-age kids, you already know exactly what's coming. The pups fly to Dino Island, rescue dinosaurs, fix bridges, replant vegetation, and generally undo the environmental damage Mayor Humdinger keeps causing. It's time to the feature film hitting cinemas in August, and it's built for very small children. Controls stripped to the bone, 1 signature ability per pup, 2-player co-op. The Switch 2 version actually gets more than these ports usually do. Better textures, denser foliage, longer draw distance, game share support. But it lands 2 months after everything else. And the box holds a game key card again. Judging a game like this on the normal scale is pointless.
Find your favorite pups and their dino friends in Paw Patrol Dino World.
3 kids board games in 1 box: Monopoly Junior, Clue Junior, and Game of Life Junior. Rules simplified, boards animated, mini challenges and rewards bolted on. Plus customizable avatars and unlockable outfits.
A place where we look out for each other. In order to realize that, I would suffer anyone.
One of the most beautiful JRPGs of recent years. 8 travelers, 8 separate stories, the continent of Cilistia sitting on the edge of an industrial age, and that break and boost combat that still cuts sharper than most modern turn-based systems. Add a day-night cycle that changes what you can do in town, and hidden latent powers for every character. The game is superb, and on Switch 2 it gets higher resolution and steadier frame rate. Now, the part Square Enix deserves to be dragged for. There is no upgrade path from the Switch version, and saves are not compatible between them. So if you already own it, you buy it again for $60 and start over from 0. The physical release is a game key card, obviously. Beautiful game, ugliest sales scheme on this entire list.
The stars, they're all gone.
Something's coming.
I smell a quarry unlike any.
Japan in some unspecified year, and anomaly zones are tearing open across the country. Apartment blocks with inverted gravity, corridors that writhe like something alive, a shopping street that endlessly duplicates itself. 17-year-old Riona Minazuki wakes from a decade-long sleep inside one of them. discovers she started changing, and picks up a gun. It's a third-person shooter with survival horror bones and an extraction structure. Dive in, shoot, grab what you can carry, drag yourself back out while watching your ammo count. The music is by Yuka Kitamura, composer on Elden Ring, Bloodborne, and Dark Souls 3, which alone is reason enough to keep an eye on this. Romeo Tanaka is on scenario duty. After 23 years, the Giant Bug Extermination series finally reaches a Nintendo console. For the uninitiated, you're a soldier, ants the size of buses are coming, along with flying saucers the size of city blocks, and robots the size of a bad decision. And you shoot all of it with an absurd arsenal while the city collapses around you. The graphics have always looked 5 years out of date, the animations are wooden, and it's best not to look too closely at anyone's face. And it's still ridiculously fun, especially in co-op. The question is whether Switch 2 can hold hundreds of enemies on screen at once, because that's the exact point where EDF falls apart. And a second question, just as pressing. EDF 6, the direct sequel, hits the same console this winter. Buying the 5th game at full price right now is a debatable move. Brazilian studio Ven grew out of a YouTube channel about deck builders with 100,000 subscribers, meaning these people spent years taking the genre apart on camera before building their own. The idea is simple and cruel. Instead of one hero with one deck, you run a party of 3, each with their own deck and turn order, and the whole game lives in how they interact. After every fight, there's one reward for the group, and you decide who eats. The one you feed grows, the others fall behind. Meanwhile, the stalker crawls after you across the map, and when it catches you, someone in your party dies. Guess who? The world is rotting because death itself was abolished by a misused divine artifact.
Imagine how the boy must be feeling. Even facing death, he sees one for all as
a 3v3 arena fighter covering the manga's final arc, the Final War, one for all against all for one. Bakugo standing in front of the worst thing alive. Huge roster, quirks reproduced with real care, a story mode, a virtual training mode, and archive battles pulled from earlier arcs. The Switch 2 version arrives later than everyone else, but brings 2 things of its own. Online matches through game share via game chat, meaning a friend can join without owning the game, and a new mode packing 10 minigames including a Pac-Man crossover. The minigames get handed out free on other platforms too, which is decent. What bothers me is the financial architecture. 3 editions, a season pass at $25 on top, characters trickling out on a schedule into February.
I'll still fight, because I want to witness the fire raging in their hearts with my own.
I'm sick of all these pretty lies.
You know, you're always taking a beating.
独立国の初代大統領に就任したピーター・クロイスで
The finale of the Crossbell arc, and, for a lot of the fan base, simply the best game in the entire Trails series. Lloyd Bannings and his special support section get caught between the Erebonian Empire and the Republic of Calvard, while the city-state they swore to protect slowly turns into a chessboard for someone else's game. This is a 2011 PSP title that only reached the West legally in 2023, having existed for years before that purely as a fan translation. Switch 2 promises 4K and up to 120 frames per second, reworked textures with the option to snap back to the originals, a high-speed mode, and mouse support for wrangling orbments. Import your save from Trails from Zero and the dialogue changes.
未曾有の危機が迫っています。